Welcome to Energy is Currency, the Millennial Development Podcast devoted to helping you mind your business personally and professionally. My name is Alexis Williams, and I am your marketing consultant, idea generator, and mini modern philosopher, the entrepreneur that checks all the boxes, whatever that may mean. Subscribe to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and iHeartRadio to listen to every gem in every episode. Season 1 is available on all streaming platforms. Hey, welcome to Energy is Currency. I am so delighted to have a great interview today. I am connected with Luna Batalia, um, an awesome entrepreneur who has a totally different perspective on how to approach their business, approach their mindset. Energy is Currency is all about minding your business personally and professionally. You have to be intentional and proactive and present with yourself and with your business. So I wanted to connect with people who really understood that. So I'm going to I'm going to allow the space for Luna to tell us about you. Tell us what brought you to this space. How are you doing? All of the good things.
Great. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to connect with you and your audience today. And I just love the vibe that you're bringing. And
I appreciate that.
this mindset is totally how I've been running my business for 15 plus years and really
15.
had that kind of intention from the beginning because I
Mm-hmm.
had worked in corporate. So when I was on my own, I was like, okay, well, now I'm my own employer and I'm my own employee. And that relationship has got to be really good because that's the only way I'm going to do good work. And that's the only way I'm going to get good work out of myself is when that employer employee contract is really cohesive and cares for one another and has these things that we're missing in the corporate arena that I can
Mm-hmm.
actually give myself and share with my contractors and collaborators and people on my team and that I work with. And so it's always been a value. So I love that and I love being here.
Thank you. Thank you. When did you notice? I call that the shift from me versus me to
Mm.
me with me, where I feel like I was driving one day and I was like, no, you're doing it wrong. It's
Mm-hmm.
not you versus you anymore. You have to be in alignment. What was that? What did that light bulb moment look like for you?
Oh, there's been so many. Um, forgetting and remembering again and again.
For
Thank
sure.
goodness the light bulbs keep going off.
Oh, that's a blessing.
Um, yeah, I had a spiritual awakening in my late 20s that really catalyzed a lot for me and shifted me out of my fashion career much more into healing arts. And then little by little, that I had already been in the yoga world and mindfulness practice, but it hadn't really like settled in my body. It was something I did.
Mm-hmm.
And something shifted where it became an integral part of who I am, not like a practice that I have to do. And that really shifted things. And little by little, I started working clinical care. I worked in addiction care. I worked in prisons. I worked in a private practice with my own more leadership based clients. So, what you said in the beginning is like the personal and professional mindfulness,
Mm-hmm.
minding your business. I love that. And the things that were concepts became over time became a way of being. It wasn't just something I was teaching or an idea that I was influenced by. It was how I was living my life and I was seeing the results. And so what works, I stick with. If it makes me feel good, then I'm with it. I'm sticking with
Yeah,
it. If it don't make
yeah.
me feel good, then it's got to go. So I think that there was this big shift in my late 20s that really just allowed all the mindfulness that was conceptual to really start to integrate. And it really catalyzed a whole new direction in my life.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I had that moment. Maybe not in my late 20s, but definitely at the top of my 30s.
Yeah.
Where it was like, hey, you're doing good, but we're gonna make this a much more nurturing experience this go round. Like we don't have to work because I feel like I grew up in hustle culture. I grew up listening to Rick Ross and Jay-Z as I caught the bus and walked from this job and this school and all of that. And I loved it. It fueled me, right? But it was like, wait, I don't always want to be this level of stimulated.
Hmm.
I don't always want to be this level of aggression towards everything, you know?
Totally. I grew up in New York and worked in the city
Oh,
for a long time. And so I had that same mentality. And then I moved to California. And I remember emailing with people when I lived in New York that I was working with on the West Coast. And they were just so lax about things. And I was just like, why aren't you like on top of this? Just,
right. Where is your sense of urgency?
yeah.
Why isn't this on fire? Everything is on fire. And then you kind of like, no, I'm just
Wait a
treating
minute.
it like it's on fire.
Hmm.
I think once that prefrontal cortex kicked in and you're like, oh no, I'm doing
Yeah.
I'm the fire.
Yeah.
That
There
was
was,
a big wake up call. Go ahead.
there was something you said about I have this whole thing in my branding approach that's identifying, especially I work with a lot of people with personal brands
Hmm.
where their presence, their face is a huge part of why people are working with them.
Hmm.
And the big shift that I work with is seeing yourself as your brand versus relating with it. And there was something you said just a moment ago in that previous question that was like, that's the shift is I am not my business. I'm not my brand. It is something that I'm relating with, relating to, in relationship with, getting feedback from, listening to. And I think that that is something that that hustle culture is, it's all reliant on me to make it, to do it, to fix it. And when we have that relationship with our business, it constantly feels like problem and solution. And we can get really stuck in that approach. And if it was a relationship and you were my, like, we're homies and I'm constantly relating to you as, oh, you could be better, you could get fixed, you could, like, that sucks. And so we're
Yeah.
always relating. I find so many people are relating to their businesses in that way where they're looking for a deficit, they're looking for a problem to fix versus like, how do you need to feel right now? What's going on? Oh, this launch was too
Right.
fast for you, like, or it wasn't fast enough, or you had this other idea that really wanted to come through, but we were moving too fast that it didn't have space. Like all these things can be heard when we're slowing down and listening.
Yes. I think so. If you've checked out my other shows, every year I have a theme for the year.
Mm,
And one of the years was slowing down. I had a do nothing year and I had a slow down year. My do nothing year, I had to learn how to listen without without being hypercritical
mm.
and without trying to be a problem solver. So
Still
it's like,
learning that.
okay, if you, we all are. But the idea was like, if you let them talk long enough, they'll talk themselves into a solution that they
Hmm.
can handle from their level with complete context. I can't offer them that because I don't have complete context. It's not my journey. But
Mm.
I had to learn how to like practice, like, okay, ugh, I would feel it gearing up. Well, all you have.
Have you thought about?
Listen, and so now when I really just can't hold it back, I'll say, "May I offer unsolicited advice? Like, I know you didn't ask me for this. I have to get it out of my body, but I want to preface it as I know that this is unsolicited. So
Yeah, I
please
love
move
that.
forward." And then my slow down year was about slowing down, but being really, really, really intentional about it. Moving slower at the airport. I don't know if have you ever visited Atlanta's airport?
Mhm.
Have you ever tried to get through that airport in 45 minutes? It's chaos. You will destroy your nervous system trying to do that in 45 minutes because the train and the parking and do I have the right ticket? Did the flight get moved? Did the gates are miles apart.
Miles, yeah. I
It is
remember that part.
you need time to experience this with a healthy nervous system. So I wanted to spend a year just listening to my nervous system. What
Mhm.
makes me feel gurgly? What makes my stomach feel upset or tight? Or what brings me peace? But moving slow enough where I have time to recognize those indicators. As you said, like sometimes we're moving so fast that we don't have time to process the indicators. Our
Yeah,
bodies are
collecting
shooting out.
data.
The body is shooting out information all the time, but it's like, wait, body, I'll talk to you later. I'm trying to accomplish this. And it's like, no, bring the body back. Let's listen to the body for a moment and then we can figure it out together. So really reprogramming that approach.
Hmm.
I needed that. Like especially to stay in business
I
because
think we all do.
but do we have the luxury to give ourselves that?
No, I think that um, I think that yes, we do. We all have, and it is a luxury, right? There's so many people in survival mode for different reasons and valid reasons. And when we are resourced and blessed enough to be able to have the luxury to slow down and to not take it and to stay in that, it's like kind of a
It's
slap in the face to
self-sabotaging.
everyone who doesn't have the time.
It's self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
Cause but you know, it's all about self-awareness. It's all about again having that time to be self-aware to then, it feels like it's always some type of domino effect. No matter which domino or which angle you start at, it's a domino effect.
There's this phrase that I heard a long time ago that I live by, which is there's plenty of time for all the important things in life, and you decide what's important.
Ooh, writing that down. Plenty of time for important things.
There's plenty of time for all the important things in life, and we decide what's important. So if you have 20 minutes to scroll on your phone, then you're deciding that's important. If you want to spend that time differently, then you will make a different choice, and you will be communicating the level of importance that is taking up in your life.
So I read the book. I think it comes from the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Right?
Oh
Pardon
yeah,
my French, but in that book it talks
Mark
about what.
Manson.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the book talks about we're all winning at something.
Mm.
We're all winning at something, even if that's losing.
Winning at self sabotage.
You're winning at self sabotage.
Not me.
Because I mean, but what we're telling our body is that this behavior works to
Hmm.
get this type of dopamine or oxycontin or oxytocin, whatever it is we're trying to search for within the body, whatever release we're looking for. This is a behavior that does that. So if 20 minutes on the phone gives you dopamine,
Hmm.
little investment, high reward, I don't see why we shouldn't, but once you realize what you're winning at, if you're not impressed by that list, then it's like that moment of
Oh,
clarity.
love that.
Yeah, what are you doing with your time? Time management is a huge thing for me, especially in entrepreneurship. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the name of this podcast, Energy is Currency, it's like time is I always say you're spending time or money. You choose which one you have to expend
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
you're always
Mhm.
going to be spending either time or money
Mhm.
and or attention, right? So one of the
Oh,
things
your
is like,
energy, yeah.
it's funny how we use this phrase paying attention. Like there
Mhm.
is this exchange, like
It is transactional, yeah.
we're giving it to someone and there's something that we're getting in return. And I think of these things as resources. And in business, energy efficiency is especially I do a lot of business strategy and brand strategy with clients. And that's always the priority. So when we're looking at goals, we're looking at business goals, impact goals, income goals, legacy goals. And then
Right.
we're creating a holistic business structure that's allowing all of those goals to be achieved, at least in the long term, that what we're doing in the short term is leading to the long term goals and
Yes.
not just a short term win to to check it off. But at what cost? Is it helping us lead to our long term legacy and impact goals or
Right.
income goals? And so I think that it's always about energy efficiency and
Yeah.
is how I'm spending my time and or my money or my resources of attention. So like time, money, attention. And I would put time and attention in the same category for me.
Yes, for
Like if
sure.
I'm giving you my time, I'm giving you my attention.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so is the approach that we're setting up for the next 12 to 18 months of this business strategy, yeah, you can achieve your goals and at what cost?
Right. Right. What do you want to give up in order to achieve what you want? For sure. I have a friend that's in pilot school. So
Oh.
anybody with at least one ear is going to hear about the fact that she's in pilot school. Um, and she called me recently. She says, I'll be finished with pilot school in March, and that's my birthday. And I was like, you have 100 days. What you can change so much with 100 days.
Mm.
Just put it into perspective. We've lived for thousands of days, millions of days. You can do so much with just 100 of them.
I love
Just
that.
that was just I'm so excited for her because I know how transforming this next 100 days
Mm.
is gonna be for her, but it's to your point, what do you want to prioritize? What do you want to win at? What do you want to be um in the forefront of your energy? How do you want to use that very finite resource of personal energy each day? We're not limitless the way we're marketing ourselves or the
Mhm.
way we've been marketed to. We have finite energy, especially even as women. We have even more finite energy throughout our months. So it's like, how do I want to use my energy in a way that gives me the best return on investment?
Mhm.
How do I use me to get the best out of my life? So, but no, I think that's really cool. That's really cool. I Let me ask you, okay, what what advice do you have for future entrepreneurs and like entrepreneur mommies? Like the juggle. We're always talking about we went from girl bosses to soft life. Now it's a trad life. How can one person be all four of those things?
I think that's an identity exploration every person is taking on their own, and
Ooh.
it's like a game. Our lives are like we're taking on different identities, and I was a tomboy when I was a kid, and now it's just we're playing, we're discovering, we're trying things on like clothes to see if they fit
I
and to
love
see if
that.
we like them, and that's okay. And I think what the challenge is when we start getting pigeonholed and we start taking those labels as the whole of who we are and we start identifying as
The
that thing,
only
and then
identity.
there's no room for growth, or there's no room to see somebody in a different way. And when they do change, there's all this like, so especially if they're a public figure and have a brand, there's all this pushback when something changes. And for me, I relate to your brand and your business as something that's evolving. It's something that
Yeah,
you created, and like a child that is growing, it's learning, it's becoming, it's evolving, it's showing you in real time what it needs. And
definitely.
so we have to let it evolve. And the same goes for the people in our lives and the public figures in our lives and the brands that we love in our lives. They're going to change and evolve. And if we are like, no, it makes me uncomfortable when everything changes, then we miss out on experiencing a new flavor of someone.
Yeah.
You're like in a partnership, if like you're not allowing your partner to grow, or your child or anyone that you're in a relationship with, it's not gonna they're gonna feel limited by that and want to expand beyond this dynamic. And so in order to keep a relationship alive and nourishing, whether it's your romantic relationship or your friendship or business relationship you have with your brand, you have to have space to let it evolve and let it become and let it show you, hey, I'm totally different now. And now I'm slow. Now I know what I need, and I'm not that hustle culture. And when we have that identity that we're stuck with, then we can miss the magic that's happening in the evolution.
I love that. That was so beautifully put. You will miss the magic of the evolution. I love that. I think there's so much fear and so many types of fear associated with change.
Mm.
So much I would even say like pride and protection. Where it's like I want to preserve what I have. I've worked so hard for it. I don't want anything to happen to it. And it's like, well, you also limit the opportunity for something better to happen to
Yeah.
it. So I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah, change can feel like loss for people, and we live in this culture that's very grief illiterate and death phobic, and so loss and change can
Yes.
feel like something we just want to avoid and stay comfortable by keeping things the same. But there's so much beauty in letting that decomposing, like honoring the death, honoring the giving it
Yeah.
dignity, giving, okay, this is what my businesses look like for this long, and now it's asking me to change, and I have to dignify all that it's given,
Yeah.
all that it's given in this time so that it can become something else. And when
Yeah.
we give it space for that decomposition, it that's the fertile soil that allows something else to be born from.
Have you had an experience like that where you had to kind of grieve one of your transitions to make space for something?
Yeah, so many times. Oh gosh. I got divorced a few years ago, and that was a
Oh,
big
wow.
one. It was
Okay.
like, it was great in so many ways and challenging in so many ways, but it was a whole identity shift. Like, oh, I'm not
For sure.
this
For sure.
person's this, and my name changed, and like business and podcasts. Like, it was funny. If you search my name, I'm actually on tons of podcasts, but I had a different married name, and so they don't come up. These like little things of
Nuances.
change.
Yeah.
And then it's when you go through the personal when I went through the personal process of different types of loss or change, changing locations, changing like marriage status, these kinds of things. It's like that informs my business too.
Yeah.
So just like our business is evolving and changing, we're evolving and changing, and we're going to, because we're in relationship, it's going to impact each other. And so,
For sure.
yeah, I've seen that so many times in my life. I shifted from a lot more personal leadership for women entrepreneurs who were founders, leading nonprofits, things like that, and much more like clinical depth work, psychology based coaching
Hmm.
into branding. And that was
Okay.
a huge transition that happened during COVID.
Yeah.
And
I was going to ask how your pandemic experience was.
it just, I mean, in a lot of ways, it was amazing business wise. I tripled my income in a year where everyone was losing it because I had adaptability,
Yeah.
right? I had an entirely different business structure and offering structure, and it just wasn't selling during that period because of circumstance. And so I pivoted, and that me allowing things to adapt and change actually set me up not only for a different career path and success in that place, but a sense of security in a time that didn't have a lot of it. So,
Yeah. I think the pandemic happened right when I was like knee deep in my spiritual practice.
oh,
So this was the first,
that'll get you waist deep real quick.
a neck high. It was the first time I had an opportunity to take a break.
Mm.
So it was less pivot for me. The way things happened during the pandemic, I was actually very protected. I was able to open my space, and all of my businesses as a hairstylist have been set up very confidentially, very privately, because I work with people that are losing their hair.
Mm.
So it was set up for the type of safety requirements that were needed for the pandemic, just in infrastructure. So kind of being ready for the unknown and not realizing it while very much needing a break, I don't think I don't think it'll ever happen that way twice. I'll say that much. Where it's like, okay, I do get a moment to rest. Like
Mm.
being able to go to the park on a Friday for a hairstylist is like saying, well, do you go hang out at Mars on Fridays? Like it has
Yeah.
the same, it doesn't make sense to us. So it allowed me to really transition out of, not fully transition out of being a hairstylist, but transition out of the pace that I was moving at beforehand.
Mm.
For sure. I needed it. I needed it. It was great.
Mm.
It was awful, but it was
Yeah,
I had a good
exactly.
time. What
Blessings in
do you think
disguise.
of? You spoke very heavily about being able to pivot. What is your perspective on pivoting now? I feel like this may not be a pandemic era, but it's enough chaos where pivoting is necessary.
Yeah, I have a personal pivot that I've been feeling but isn't apparent. So I'm 40.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a mom. I'd like to be a mom. I don't know if that will happen. And my career has very much asked me to just not try to scale right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm someone who likes to grow and collect data and use it to refine things and show up differently to get better results.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to do that without that problem solution lens and to not try to birth something new right now.
I
To
get that.
just nurture what's already here so
Yeah.
that I have the resources should that change. And I think that that would radically change my sense of purpose.
Yeah. I'm very much in that cusp as well. I'm
Yeah.
37 and I'm like, huh.
Who knows?
I think there was one point in my life where I was like, oh no, this is so terrifying. And now I'm at a space where I'm like, I wouldn't be bad at it. I would be actually cool parent after a
Oh, you
while, you
would
know?
be great, Mama.
I think so. I think so. I think my kids would be a menace to society and it would just bring me so much joy. We would just
Mhm.
enjoy it. It would really be a good time. But I think for especially women in entrepreneurship, especially for women in entrepreneurship, because I'll say this, whenever I'm to your point, you feel like you're birthing a a project or birthing a
Mhm.
business or I feel like I've experienced the birthing process but for business. So now trying to take that, I don't feel like my current approaches to how I've approached business and everything is the ideal approach
Mm.
for that next season.
That's good information to have.
I'm making space for I'm making space for that. But I don't know how to approach it. So it's just like, okay, just be present.
Mhm.
Just be in the moment then. If you don't know what to do, then just stand there. Someone will know you're lost.
Hopefully.
So, but what would you like to experience? You can manifest whatever you want. I think
Totally.
sure we know
Totally.
that at this point, right?
Totally. I mean, I'm experiencing all of it right now, and I
Hmm.
try to just really focus on, yes, there's visions and goals, and they're happening. They're unfolding in time, and they they get there when they get there. And yeah,
Yeah.
I very much have approached my purpose from a sense of listening for signals to guidance to like God showing me the path that's in front of me and just saying yes and stepping forward and trying to not have so much of my own agenda and ambition as a part of that. And
I
to
can
just
see.
really be like, cool, this is what's in front of me right now. And it's asking me to say yes. And I am blessed with the capacity to do so. So,
Yeah.
and just kind of take it as it comes. And all of my different business ventures have kind of started that way
Yeah.
from not from like, oh, I want to make this happen, but really from, what I call God or the muse kind of tapping on my shoulder and saying, hey, you want to bring this to life together? Like, let's do it. And so
Yes, you
I,
did.
just am like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Say yes.
I call it the seed planted. Once that seed is
Mm,
planted, I have that idea and I'm like, oh, that is an idea.
yeah,
Oh, I love that feeling.
it's the best.
It's the best. It's such a good feeling. I don't think I can approach it that way though. And I think that is so cool. I'm
Mm,
so uh intrigued and what's the word I'm looking for? I'm curious. There's a
mm.
curiosity, where it's like, okay, well, so okay, I feel like Beyonce. I feel like for as hard as
I love
Beyonce
it.
has worked,
I feel like Beyonce.
a natural segue. I feel
Me
like
too, every
Beyonce.
day.
I feel like for everything she's worked for, she had to experience more of herself in order
Mhm.
to become a parent.
Mm.
There are certain things that are output, there are certain things that are input. And I think becoming a parent is an input experience.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been such an outputter that it's like, oh. So no, I can't build this. I can't find the ingredients for this at the Home Depot. Okay. Okay. You can't resourceful your way through this. You have to experience this. So
Yeah,
I'm curious.
receiving it.
Yeah, for sure. What would you like to experience in 2026? What's your where you headed?
Oh, just beautiful expansion, graceful expansion, heart explosions.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm kind of just along for the ride.
okay.
Um, yeah, kind of like the fuck around and find out era, just like
Yes.
little
FA
like
and the FO.
play. Let's see what happens when we play. The curiosity that you mentioned, I think that that's how I really want to approach the year ahead, with play and curiosity and wonder and allowing things to take shape and form and guide me, and having fun along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally, totally. 2026 is my year of connections. I think
Mm.
that's the word for the year. I do a lot of, I try to focus on at least one chakra. This year, I'm going to take on two chakras. So I'm going to
Oh,
focus on my heart chakra and my sacral chakra this year. So we're going to see what kind of chaos that can get me into.
sounds
What kind of
sexy.
trouble I could find with that. But no, I'm very much looking forward to just the dynamics. What am I capable of experiencing? Less questions, more just we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out on the
Yeah,
way there.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Okay, cool. Well, I am going to, we're at our 30-minute mark. How can we connect more with you? Where can we find you at on social media? How
Yeah.
can we use your services? How can we connect with you?
Yeah, so personally, I coach women leaders and personal and professional intersection and do mentorships. And then I founded a brand studio called Kuru Creative. And that brand studio, we do full spectrum branding from messaging, visuals, brand and business strategy, and website design. And
Yeah.
so both of those places are a great place to find me. You can find me on Instagram at Luna Batalia. And then my website is lunaloveleadership.com.
Luna Love Leadership. I love that. I was trying to write that down so I can look it up myself.
Oh, nice.
I have thoroughly enjoyed connecting with you. We're going to have you back on the show to get some more of your perspectives on life and everything. But I'm so grateful that I was able to connect with you and have a
Yeah, you
moment to
too.
chat, pick your brain.
Thanks, Alexis. I really enjoyed being here and connecting with you and your audience, hopefully. And yeah, till
Thank
next
you
time.
so much. Well, to check out this episode of Energy is Currency and all the rest of the seasons and whatnot, we are everywhere you podcast. So Spotify, Apple, we're on Pandora, we're on Amazon. We are everywhere you listen to your podcast. And if you want more about my business mentorship, we are at mba.lexi.show. So have a great one. And remember, your energy is your currency. Make the most of it.